Hi guys, welcome back to my video. Today I'm gonna talk about Subway Rook. It's an interesting strategy because it actually follows the same pattern as Rabbit Pawn Engage, and White can hide his plan under the disguise of it, and it's also a good idea to keep this silver as low as possible for more flexibility, since it's impossible to detect. Black can form a basic position first, so black plays go to 5-8. See, still black doesn't know what's gonna happen, so it's natural to play rook to 8-8 like I showed you before. So black will be fine even if white decides to push this pawn here to attack. And both players wait by pushing the central pawns. And finally bishop comes out. This is a necessary move for white because in order to form basic subway rook position, this silver needs to go to the left. And at this point, black needs to be suspicious of something being wrong. And silver to 5-7 is better than 6-7. And here white can also go for Millennium Castle. So this is a pretty flexible position for white. It's a good idea to push this pawn to put a little bit more pressure onto his bishop. It's okay to push this edge pawn back, and black should never play knight to 3-7, for example, because it's supposed to protect the edge. So if he does, the edge gets significantly weakened, so it's very dangerous. And now it's official that he is going for Subway Rook, and he can no longer form Millennium Castle because of this. And black can complete high Mino Castle. Then black can kick the bishop, and he can complete this beautiful tower Mino. This is a great place for the silver because it's also looking at this square, because the central square is one of the weakest points when it comes to Millennium Castle and Subway Rook. So it's reasonable for white to bring this up. Then all of a sudden black waits, because now it's in its ideal position, so black doesn't want to do something unnecessary. If white pushes back, the pawn can be targeted because the knight is now loose, right? And white wants to go for Subway Rook, rook to 1-1 instead of 8-4 to protect the edge, right? So it's also possible for black to attack the edge if white pushes back, so white can simply ignore this pawn push. And what if white plays pawn to 2-4 in order to protect this square as well? Then black can push this back. It's free, but if white takes it, the bishop is going to be trapped, so it's not a good idea to take it even if it's free. But if he sends the silver up, then black can go for silver crown, and at this point it's already too late for white to go for subway rook now, because black's defense is more solid, right? So white cannot penetrate the edge. So white can simply stick to his initial plan by lance to 1-2. Then a black can do something interesting here. Pawn sack to 3-5. It's blocking this diagonal. Also, a black can attack this square. And then next move is to bring this up. And that's also interesting because black is now intentionally breaking up his own defense, right? And that's okay because silver to 2-6 is cool. It's also protecting this square and also looking at this pawn. He would try to kick the silver, but that's okay. Thanks to the pawn sack, it can go to the left, right? But in order to boost the attack, black can reposition his rook to 3-8 because it's a good idea to round up on this file, and also there is no point to keep this rook on this square, right? He would try to protect this square, but it's okay because it's 2 pieces against 1, and the black can drop a pawn to 3-4, and in order to avoid it, white has to sacrifice the pawn, but that's okay. He just lost a 1 pawn and he can't defend next pawn drop anyway, so black stands better here. So even if he knows it's coming, he just have to ignore it and keep attacking the edge. And after this lance exchange, black can play this cool pawn drop. It's also a trap because if he takes it, the rook is going to be captured, so he can't take it. And after the withdrawal, black can finally attack this square. It's so strong. Even if he runs with a knight, black can open up this diagonal. He would try to save this knight, but that's okay. Black can simply accept the trade. And he would do something like that. Then black can calmly go up. Now this pawn is protected, and black can possibly promote this pawn next, and then drop this lance to 3-4, for example. And there is no good defense for white. If white takes this pawn now, black cannot drop the lance, but that's okay because this pawn promotion is so strong. If gold takes it, then black takes the knight. Then a big sacrifice can be made here. Bishop to 3-3. And he has to take it. Then silver to 4-4. It's so cool. Even if he runs, black can still take the knight. It's also possible for white to fight back by lance to 1-4. Many of you are familiar with a similar checkmate position, right? But that's okay because king can simply run and he will be safe. And this pawn drop will be cool because black can take this goal next and then promote this pawn. Pawn drop to 3-2 is a defensive move, but he can calmly take the silver and black still will be fine. So he can simply take the knight. And then black can kill the rook. And black needs to remember that his king now is on the diagonal. So if black can take this pawn by the silver, game is over, right? And instead, black can ignore it and drop the rook to 2-1. It's so painful for white because he just dropped the pawn right here, right? So he can drop something else. Even if he knows it's going to be wasteful, this is the only way to defend. And then this pawn drop is going to be a threat mate. White can make a check, and he's so desperate, but that's okay because this knight drop is cool. White cannot take this, right? Because this is a threat mate. And he's going to lose this gold as well, so black is winning here. Alright, that's all for this video. In this final position, king to 2-8 might be better for black than knight to 4-4, because as long as the king stays on this diagonal, he cannot capture the gold, right? Black can also reactivate this rook by rook to 3-6 and before he pushes too deeply into his camp, because this move can be too late later on. And I will leave this up to you so you can come up with your own conclusion. It's always fun to study the endgame. Yeah. I hope it's been helpful, and thanks for watching. Bye.